very warm welcome along, everybody, and thank you for joining us once again here on the Big Five Racing Podcast. The clocks have gone forwards, the spring weather has fallen upon myself here in the Cotswolds, and as we enter into April, the spring is beginning to take shape in the form of horse racing, and there is plenty of fantastic action, both disciplines, over the next couple of weeks, including this one to look forward to. This weekend, we'll be taking you to 3 race courses in 3 different countries, continuing our open into the 2026 flat season from Scotland. There's a nice card from Haydock Park on Easter Saturday with a variety of series qualifiers, and it's the Ireland's biggest race on Monday, the Irish Grand National, so there's a lot to look forward to. And we'll be doing that in the company of tipping powerhouse Cotty, who's just banged in another pair of winners last week, and my IPL correspondent, Matty. Matty, I really do love this time of year. Obviously, we've got the football running, which is about to start. Huge spring meetings that coast nicely into the Guineas then in May in a month's time. Cricket's back. The days are longer. What more could you want?
Yeah, exactly. You've hit the nail on the head. Cricket back for me and you's a big one. Obviously, big fans of that. It gives us something to follow through the days. And footy's still on the go. And obviously the racing, still got some big jump festivals left to come with the likes of Aintree, Punchestown and Ayr. And for, the flat fans amongst us, they've got plenty to look forward to. My selections for the first flat preview of the season went as expected, but not to worry. We'll have another go again this week.
Yeah, definitely. We record these on the Tuesdays, folks, and even though the racing's obviously quite low key at the minute, you wouldn't have ever thought we'd be talking about Newcastle and Bangor, but here we are. Dan's had a fantastic day, hasn't he? He's had 4 horses that were all incredibly well backed, and he is really edging his way towards that Cherators title now, isn't he? After a very nice Tuesday, shall we say?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure the prize money that's been won today is not going to make too much difference to the championship, but it kind of just epitomises the season Dan's had. Seems like everything he's touched or mapped out has turned to gold, and Tristan obviously rode the final winner of the 4-timer, and he looks set to be crowned champion conditional now with Freddie Gordon ruled out through a broken collarbone. So, fantastic season for Dan. Bar an absolute miracle for Willie at Aintree, which we can never rule out. It looks all but tied up for now.
Yeah, it does, and Tris on his way to becoming the champion conditional there. Hopefully we'll get him on at the end of the season if he picks that prize up. 2 wins, like I mentioned, for yourself last week, Cotty. Docklands went in at Doncaster, that was the big one, hammered into 8-11. Jamie Spencer coasted into things like he couldn't lose, and 2-1 was starting to look a very, very lovely price, wasn't it, at the 2-pole? It's a good start to the season looking forward.
Yeah, no, good to get off. I thought the price of Docklands at 2-1 was a good price, and it turned out to be so. Nice to get the Nat winner on the board as well. That looks a very nice horse going forward for Paul Nicholls. Bit frustrating. Jaswar couldn't go in. Was very keen throughout the race and just kind of hit the front a bit too soon. But he was going that well. The jockey was kind of left with nowhere else to go but to go for home, and just got picked off late by a Richard Hannon horse. He looks to have started the season off very well. Won the Brocklesby, didn't he? So, I think Richard Hannon and Michael Ball are the 2 trainers to really keep on side with at the start of the flat season, from what I've noticed in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, definitely ones that get their trade done earlier on in the season, so definitely ones to keep an eye out there for. Wonderful. So we've got Veterans Finals, Sprints in Scotland, and a National to take you through this week. Something for everyone, which is a nice change. Next week, of course, we'll be looking forward to the biggest race in the world in the eyes of many, the 2026 Randox Grand National, alongside its supporting festival-graded action. So do join us for our tips there. You do need a pot, of course, to build for the Grand National, so let's take you to, firstly, this week's edition of the Big Five.
Wish I could go back to lying beside you on the bed.
I quite like these weeks where we've got a little bit of everything to look forward to. It's obviously the coition of going through now to the start of the flat season. We've got the first of the classics coming up in just over a month's time. And that's where we're going to take you to first for the start of this week's Big Five. We've got some nice action up in Scotland, as we always do early in the season. The ground can always kind of be a bit attritional, but hopefully the weather's been as good up there as it has down here. So we'll kick off firstly then with the 305, which is the Queen's Cup handicap. It's a mile 6 Class 3 and is open to a 5-1 status of the field here. It's a bit difficult with the lower class stay in division, Cotty, because obviously the high class names of years that have gone by, the likes of Trollerman and Kyprios, it takes a very, very high horse to get to that stage. I don't think we're going to have any Group 1 winners in here, but there's trends that you look for in Scotland, local trainers, course form seems to be very, very important up there, the likes of here, Kelso and Ayr. Do any of those trends fit into your pick to start this week's Big Five?
They don't know. I've gone for quite an interesting one here. We've literally just been speaking about him, but Dan Skelton has sent one up to Musselburgh. Gambino. Ross Ryan takes a ride, which is a very good jockey booking. The last time this horse ran on the flat was behind a certain Constitution Hill. Was beat 10 3/4 lengths that day behind Constitution Hill, giving Con Hill £7. Constitution Hill's got a handicap rating of 101.
Is that what he got today?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, interesting.
Gambino's got an official rating here of 83. Had a good run over hurdles 2 weeks ago, but Newbury was only 2 or 3 lengths behind Cocktail Blue, who was a decent horse for the Gordons. So yeah, I just thought of a mark of 83, around the 7-1 mark. Ross Ryan taking the ride, I just thought was quite interesting. With the fuel prices at the minute, sending one up to Musselburgh from Ulster wouldn't be top of the list.
They've won £4 million in the last 8 months. I strongly
doubt
the
know,
price
of
diesel.
Yeah, I know, but it's always good to factor in those kind of things, I think. So yeah, to send one up there is a long way, and hopefully Ross Ryan can give it a good spin, and could be a good form boost for Constitution now.
That's what it would prove to be. Interesting to see he got a rating of 101 there. That's exciting going forward. Gambino off a quick return from a jumps weekend there a few days ago. It's difficult for people who were diluted into the flat scene, Matty, these kind of races, especially early on in the season. But I'm going to reiterate what I said at the start about looking for horses that do well at Scottish tracks. Is that your trend, or are you on the Dan Skelton horse here as well?
No, I think the Dan Skelton horse is obviously very interesting, and that wouldn't be too much of a surprise that if he went and ran well. But Dan's never trained a flat winner, I believe, and I think it'd be. I mean, you wouldn't put it past him to do it in such a competitive race, but I'd be happy just to take that horse on based on that fact. So yeah, I've gone for one that has won round Musselburgh before. I do find Musselburgh as a quite a specialist track. I mean, went up there a couple of years ago, and it wasn't until I was there until I realised how sharp it actually is, and it does seem to ride very quick. It all happens very quickly, even though the straights are quite long in distance. Once you get rolling off the bend, you struggle to make up ground there. So Sporting Silver Mine for James Owen. Kieran Fallon's dropped up on this horse already. Won here over 1.4 miles, and then has been ultra consistent without getting his head front. So unfortunately, he's gone up the weight, so he's still way above his last winning mark. But he's been running well, and I'm hoping the return to Musselburgh and a step up in trip again could be the key for this horse. He's priced 12-1 currently, and I think it's a good each way bet. You're going to get, hopefully going to get a horse that likes the ground, likes the trip, and likes the track. So that's my selection.
Yeah, James Owen, who was probably one of the best in the world at being able to convert horses from the various styles, jumps, flat. He's got plenty of Arab horses as well. Sporting Silver Mine, the 5-year-old, at 12-1. I'm going to kick off with one at a big price this weekend, and that is Trojan Sun at 33-1, who, as I was going through this race, I just thought was far too big. He's been around in Stayer's company for quite some time now, and he got himself up to a career high mark of 77 on the all-weather runs in the winter, where he was dead last twice. there's two simple metrics to justify why this is going to suit better. One, his all-weather form as far as you go back is just terrible. He just doesn't take to the tapeter that well. The second one, his form here is where he is most effective. He's got the autumn. He got one in autumn over Manella's Study, who we just seen finish third in a triumph at the festival there a couple of weeks ago. And he placed as well in a Class 4 event earlier in the summer too. So I've got no issues with him being able to stay the mile 6. He's won and run it further plenty of times. Comes back to a pretty Iden trip. Amy Waugh has been a bit of an invaluable £3 as well since she switched to the flat. Jim Goldie is well described up there as the Aidan O'Brien of Edinburgh too. So I think if you take all those different variances into the fact that it's a local trainer, he does well at Musselburgh, it just seemed a very big price for me, and it's one of those kind of upsets that wouldn't really surprise people. So Trojan Sun, be it a big price, would be a very nice one to land to kick-start the weekend. We'll keep it at Musselburgh for the 342. There's the Virgin Bet Scottish Sprint Cup Handicap. That's a Class 2 over 5 furlongs. 5-1 the field again, so I'm not going to run through all of them. I mentioned it last week, Cotty, about our top-class sprinters in this country. They are very, very poor in the world domain. Obviously, on a domestic field, it is the reason you get these events at 5-6 is the field. You would look at this and think it's a mini Lincoln in itself over 5, but there is angles into being able to win these races, and you might just be able to have one for us.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't be saying it was a mini Lincoln. The Lincoln's run over a mile, isn't it?
I said that's what I said, a 5 furlong Lincoln, yeah.
Oh, right, okay. Yeah, the one I found quite interesting here was Jurbat for David and Nicola Barron. Safi Osborne takes a ride. It's off a marker 95 today, edging down the weights. This horse does like to come third, but, if you're getting the 891 that's on offer, and if it does come third, then, you're not too disheartened. Running the race last year off a marker 92 and came third, was only beaten a length. So, he's £7 lower today. Safi Osborne, a very, very capable pilot, 8 stone 6 on its back, featherweight, likes the course. The only slight issue is we don't know the draws yet. I think, especially in these sprint races, if you can get the rail kind of thing and you're up in the van early doors, it's a big advantage. Or if you miss the kick and you're on the rail, there's a lot of hard luck stories. So be interesting to see what the prices do when the draws come out, because I do think that makes a big difference up there. But yeah, for now I'll stick with Jurbat at 8-1, and hopefully off this lowish mark, considering what the market has been, it can run a good race.
I agree with you. It's a low draw kind of place. It's a bit like Chester. You want to be up on the rail because it is a very tight track there. And Jurbat made my shortlist as well, and he's going to be your selection there at 8-1. I will just jump in with mine as well, because I'm really hoping it's going to be a bit of a Jim Goldie masterclass on Saturday. I've got another one of his here. That's Eternal Sunshine at 14-1. Again, it's a very progressive 6-year-old. He's up £19 from where he was this time last year. She's won 3 times during that as well. Some good Class 2 placings along the lines as well. Again, he's got a win at Musselburgh, and the form lines are relatively decent for this horse here. Possibly my big question is whether she's an outright 5 furlong sprinter. I've seen her running plenty of races over 6 and 7 and being a bit more effective, so I'm hoping that's the case. But the fact she's been kept off the all-weather and waited for the turf would indicate to me this has been a bit of a target for the last 5 or 6 months for them. Lauren Young is a pretty good claimer I've been keeping my eye on as well for a while. She does a lot of her trade up in North Yorkshire. She takes 5 off, so that's going to bring this down to 8 stone 5. Cotty's on an 8-7 there. Like I said, their featherweights is exactly what I would like in a race like this over such a quick distance, and hopefully either of those 2 Jim Goldie horses can go in for me. Matty, it's a bit of a puzzle once again, this. It's just a simple case of if you land this, you're going to do well to not make some money on Saturday.
Yeah, for me personally, wouldn't be a race I'll be having a bet in at all. But I've managed to sift through and pick one, and seems to be drifting like a barge since prices have opened. But the top weight here, the Democracy Dilemma for Ross Orion. Robert Cowell, obviously I'm no flat expert. I know he does very well with his sprinters. Obviously the jockey booking of Ross Orion's a positive as well. Third behind Diligent Harry on his comeback run around Lingfield. Should be sharp enough for this. I imagine the visor will go back on at declarations. this horse has won 8 races. He's a 6-year-old, plenty of experience, and this field doesn't look, mesmerising by any means. So potentially this horse might just be too good, even though he's got a lump 9 stone 12 over the 5. But I just thought might just have a bit of class in the race to take this.
1,440 to 1 TriCast there between us. Nice one at your price there, Democracy Dilemma. But it just shows in these early sprints in the flat that you're going to get paid well if you land a winner. And Ross Orion is just about probably in the top 5 in the world right now, is riding out of his skin and has been doing so for some time. Lovely stuff then. On to the 246 from Haydock. We've got some nice jumps action as well from Haydock. They always put on a very nice card at Easter time. I've been to this many a time as well. We'll start there with the Pretemps Network Challengers Stayers Hurdle Series Final. Handicap Hurdle, of course, is the series final. It's a Class 2 event over 3 miles and a half a furlong. Once again, it's 5 to 1 the field. We're definitely getting people paid if we can land some nice winners this weekend. That tops out with Blue Carpet for Dan Skelton, who I believe won his qualifier last time out and carries 11 stone 1. And it's been a very good day for Dan Skelton, hasn't it, Cotty? And everyone's going to have eyes on him for these next few weeks in the lead up to Aintree to see if he can just make that final push and book a trainer's title that he's been very deserving of for the last few years, less the brilliance of Willie Mullins. You get a wide open appeal here, and we're looking for young stayers that are going to enter the full division in the next couple of years to take on the old guards, the likes of Hum by the Lee, who won the stayers last week, or 2 weeks ago now. So what's going to come out of the woodwork here and become the big stayer in Britain?
Yeah, no, I thought this was a very tricky contest. It's definitely open. I think the races we're reviewing this week, if you can get one in, you'd be happy enough. It's tough picking this weekend. I thought Domore Bay won on Midlands Grand National Day at Uttoxeter last time out. Was a decent performance that day, very game and tough. Beat a horse of Skelton's, who I think's a very good horse in a Pied de Nom. That was tipped to win the Martin Pipe, but didn't get in, didn't quite have a high enough mark. Very in and out sort of horse. So you're guessing really to see what horse you're going to get on the day. But if the best foot forward is down that day, then 6 to 1 could look a good price. Blue Carpet, like you said, for the Skeltons, very very consistent horse. Saturdays, Haydock, Class 2s. It kind of goes without saying that'll be there or thereabouts come the day. But I just thought if Domore Bay could put its best foot forward and reproduce the effort last time out of Uttoxeter, I think 6 to 1 is probably a fair price. But you'll probably know your fate halfway through the race if the horse is on a going day or not.
Yeah, Emma Lavelle's been fantastic with her stay and hurdles. That's her bread and butter, really, isn't it? The likes of Paisley Park, Marchantou in recent years. Domore Bay, the 8-year-old, could he improve once again? Will carry 11-12 to justify winning this series final. And we talked, Matty, a couple of weeks ago about the status of the Stayers division at the minute, and to assume any of these is going to win this and then go on and win a Stayers is obviously, it's bonkers talk, but, this is a nice price for somebody to be able to pick up, and Haydock's a nice place to try and get a stayer because if they get 3 miles, they probably get further. So who stays best here?
Yeah, I'm going to keep it simple here. Go with Blue Carpet for the Skeltons. Won his qualifier last time out quite nicely in the end. Beat a nice horse of Ollie Murphy's. I imagine it'd have been the plan for this horse. They've wasted no time stepping him up in trip. He started his hurdling career over 2 miles, went straight to 2.5, won over 2.5, was then beaten at Newbury 3 miles, but again, not beaten far, beaten a length and 3/4. And then again, went on to win last time at Wetherby. Looks very progressive, seems to stay all day. And like Cott referred to, these big Saturday races, you do well to take on Harry and Dan, especially, and the form they're in currently. And like this be a very nice pot, 20 grand, I think it is, to the winner, just boosts that lead even more. So yeah, nice and easy for me. Blue Carpet. I can't see him going off 5 to 1 either. So I think that's a nice price about him early doors.
Any text messages we need to know about?
No, just just using my own brain.
Okay, that's good. Blue carpet at the top of the market there, 5-1 for the Skelton boys. Jacquard du Moulin, I hope I'm saying that right, was my pick here at about 6-1. Dons those Colm Dunlan silks, of course, famously plotted by Langadan for many at a Coral Cup. He's been on a bit of a roll lately, this horse, as well, since he had a wind operation in the summer. That includes 2 wins coming into this. One is qualifier over way further at Doncaster a few weeks back during the festival week. Goes up £8 for it, so reasonably well treated, because he's still only taken £10.11 here. Seems to be progressing quite nicely. Paul Nicholls wouldn't send a whole host of horses up north these days. He's very obviously selective with the smaller graded operations that he has, so to see a horse like this in a Thames final interests me quite a bit there. I just thought he had a good chance to win, but like the boys have said there, wide open competition this really, isn't it? So if anyone manages to find the winner of this between us or you at home, fair play to you. One more from Haydock before we wrap up the English stuff. That is the Unibet Middle Distance Veterans Handicap Chase at 320. That's over 2.5 miles for Class 2. There's been qualifiers for this all through the winter. It's a very nice competition, this, Matty. Where obviously a lot of these horses would have been sort of sent into retirement or to show jumping or whatever it might have been. Being able to see so many of these sort of 10, 11, 12-year-olds come back and be able to run for really nice prize money is a good thing. A lot of these have obviously finished in the top 3 to get here. Now it's just a case of who's going to turn up on the big day and win the final.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's a really good incentive. The prize money is fantastic for these veterans as well. I mean, 50 grand to the winner of this. You know, if you've got an 11, 12-year-old in training and they still have the love for the game, it's absolutely a superb initiative to keep them going. A really tough race, to be honest. I think you've got the John Joe O'Neill horse at the top of the market, Genesis Genoa. I can't say that. That's a terrible pronunciation. Genoa, I think. Yeah.
Your French is terrible.
I know, horrific. It's nearly as bad as yours. But yeah, he could be chucked in here, 125. I mean, they had a very good Cheltenham Festival, but I'm always just kind of tentative with those horses. I struggle to catch that yard on a going day. Interestingly, I thought the outsider of the lot, the Flyer Begley, was a massive prize here for Gary Hammer. Jack Hogan is jocked up as well. As I think he won this race last year, if I'm correct. He did win this race last year. He is still higher in the weight, but he had a nice run over hurdles around Southwell a couple of weeks ago, presumably to get him absolutely spot on for this. Ben Macy rode that day. Jack Hogan takes back over. I just thought 33-1 was a massive price. He'll be my each way selection for the race. For a win purpose, I do like Guard Your Dreams for the Twiston Davises, Toby McCain Mitchell. Me and Cotty were at Warwick the day that he went and won, and he was impressive, to be honest. He looked to be absolutely thriving. I think that was his first run in Veterans Company, and he seemed to thrive off it. Stepped him back up into the plate, then around Cheltenham, and he was brought down and went off a big price that day. Is probably too much of an ask for him, but I imagine that since he won around Warwick, this would have been the aim for this horse. Toby McCain Mitchell won on him at Warwick. He takes the ride here again, and yeah, a big fancy for me, 7-1. I think that's quite a big price, to be fair, for this horse.
Right at the very back for an each way selection there with the Flyer Begley at 33-1, looking to win it in back-to-back years. Guard Your Dreams near the top of the market, a horse I think I've seen him run about 57 times around Cheltenham in the last 3 years at 7-1 at the top of the market. I don't have a selection in this, to be honest. I just found it too difficult to be able to split them. There was a few that didn't come here that won no qualifiers, so I'll leave it. I'm hoping to get to Haydock on Saturday as well, actually, to hopefully do a little bit of a paddock pick and get one there. I'll leave Cotty to try and figure out this middle distance handicap, because you know the capabilities of all of these horses, and that's irrespective of what they've got on a mark these days. So it's a case of, do you prefer one that's top quality and carries the weight to justify it, or something that has been good in the past and gets a few pounds to try and get up this time?
Yeah, no, Matty's basically took the words out of my mouth here, really. I think Guard Your Dreams here has a cracking chance. As Matty said, we were there that day at Warwick, first time in a veterans chase, and he bounced out and made the run in and won really nicely. a lot of horses that day did make the running and win that day. So maybe the performance was, the winning distance was not justified as such, but he did win very very well at the same time. So yeah, he then went to Cheltenham, as Matty said, in the plate and was brought down at the first. But going through his record, he doesn't seem to enjoy Cheltenham at all. Really, has never been better than midfield throughout the many attempts that he has had at Cheltenham. I think he won once there. I think back in
Yeah.
2007 or something. But apart from that, in recent years, there's a lot of falls or seventh or sixes. So maybe the love for Cheltenham has gone, and I just think on a flat left-handed track, hopefully get his own way out in front and can really kick on. It does say that there's some rain in the local area, which would be unlike Haydock, but yeah, he won on heavy round Warwick, so any rain to come wouldn't be an issue. And yeah, 7-1. I'll have a pop on him on the nose. I think if he's he'll either win or he won't be anywhere near. I think so. I'll save the each way and I'll just go for the win purpose.
Strong words there about Guard Your Dreams. He gets a double tip in the Veterans Chase at Haydock at the weekend. Maybe the biggest lie I've seen on the racing post in a long time is that it's currently good to soft at Haydock, and that would imply it hasn't rained for the last 7 days, and that simply cannot be true. The feature race from this week comes on Easter Monday. The 5 o'clock over in Ferryhouse is the Boyle Sports Irish Grand National Chase over 3 miles and 5 furlongs. Grade 3 contest in the Republic. 8-1 for a British favourite after we had the success of Haiti Color last year. This time it's the Jukebox Kid. Put away for the Cheltenham Festival to come here as the 8-1 favourite. Plenty of money coming from that. Then you're into a host of William Mullins contenders, the likes of Argento Boy, Sata Chance, and then Emmett Mullins has Soldier in Milan. We've done this on a forfeits basis, so we don't have the full entries, and obviously no one's been jocked up yet, so we're doing this obviously 6 days in advance. It's pretty difficult, but we know who the main contenders are going to be for the Irish National, Matty, and there's weird form lines specifically for this national compared to the Welsh and the English versions and the Scottish, because novices do very well. The British are happy to have a crack in this compared to the graded events. They're well enough treated by the Irish handicappers. So the Jukebox Kid deserves an opening mention. That obviously this has been a long-term target for Ben Pauling, who would carry 10-3 if he did turn up here, and then I'll leave the floor for the rest of the Irish national to you.
Yeah, I think it's just worth noting. I think the weights are going to change once we get decks, because it looks like a few at the top of the weight. Probably, I mean, Lecky Watson is the top weight in this. He probably won't run because he's going to go for the national. Will he confirm today? So. Weights are going to come out, are going to change once we get them. But I think, really interesting run of the Jukebox Kid. I mean, Rebecca Curtis won this race last year with Haiti Colours, and Ben Pauling thinks he's got a similar type of horse here. Obviously, a novice, like you said, they have great records in this race. I'd just be taking him on. I don't think his form screams out that he's a really like a Haiti Colours just yet. I think he's still got a lot to prove. I think he's a pretty horrific price, to be honest. 8-1, wouldn't be for me at all. I'm sticking with the novice route though, and JJ Slevin has won this race twice in the last 7 years. And I'm hoping that he'll be the one jocked up on Say to Chance. How's that for you, Bob? Is that all right?
Well, he's my tip as well, so I'll give it a go in a minute too.
Perfect. I imagine, obviously, retain rider for connections. Plenty of market support in the last couple of days as well, which is encouraging. I mean, 33s into about 16-1 now suggests that this horse is going to run. Like you say, novice status is always good. They're hiking this horse back up in trip. He's been doing his running at 2.5 miles this year. He's had a good season, picking up a grade 3 last time out. And obviously they feel this hike up in distance by almost a mile is going to bring out more improvement for this horse. Willie doesn't have the best record in this race, considering, I mean, he's won it twice, so he does have a good record, but for his freakish standards, not as good as he has in some other feature races. But he looks to have plenty of darts here this year. Argento Boys near the top of the market. Kiss Will's quite well fancied as well. But I do fancy the 7-year-old Sata Chance here.
You stole every one of my notes. I thought you might just leave one or two of them. Every note went there. I loved
I
everything
thought I
you
left,
said.
I mean, I didn't actually mention, but the ground's going to be no problem. He's won on
Yeah.
yielding to soft. That's what it's going to be by the looks of things. I mean, he ticks plenty of boxes, but this is such a hard race to pick the winner.
It is, yeah, but I like everything that you mentioned there about this. The novices have got such a good form line in it. JJ Slevin won it for Munir and Swade a few years ago on intense raffles. I like the fact that he's going up in trip. I am now aware I'm just stealing everything that you just said, but there's nothing more for me to add. I just think Sata Sean here is a very, very good operator, and hopefully the main thing is that he gets the trip. But obviously, any novice that's going for a 3.5 mile handicap, it's going to be the first time that you find out if they're going to be good enough to go this distance. Hammered in the markets as well, annoyingly. He opened up at 33s. He's down to 14s now. That indicates he's going to go. He's 10-1. Obviously, like you said there, the weights are probably going to fluctuate a little bit, but he's not going to be carrying any more than 10.5. So he's in the weights. He's got the trends. He's got a fantastic jockey on him off the back of his Stayers win. Need I say less? This is probably the best fancy I have of the Big Five this week. Sata Sean to win the Irish National. Now, I'd be stunned to the point of putting a little sound effect in here, Cotty. This is surely not a 3-timer on the Munir and Swade horse.
No, it's not. You're
Okay.
You're safe. I'm gonna go with an English horse and hope we can return the favour, as the Irish love to take the piss out of us on our home soil. So we'll try and do it over at Fairy House. I like Holloway Queen here for the Nicky Anderson team. Not too sure if Nico de Boinville will go over and ride it, but if not, I'm sure James Bowen will, after getting his first Cheltenham Festival winner on this horse. Jumped really nicely round Cheltenham, got into a nice rhythm behind the leader. 14-1 at the minute, so we'll take that each way. Just looks to be improving, and we're getting it these horses, they can go on a bit of a run. Won really nicely around Newbury, then straight into Cheltenham, won at a decent price, and I did actually back it at the festival. There wasn't really, well, there wasn't really a moment's worry. It's hard to say that when it's a 3.5 mile race, but we were always in a good position and always jump well. So this seems the most obvious step, going a little bit further up in trip, and taking on a better quality of horses, but it wasn't stopping at the festival that day, and I think the way the horse jumped will stand it in good stead as well. So 14-1. I'm not sure how many darts Nicky Anderson would have thrown at the Irish National in his career, but I wouldn't imagine it would have been money. So I think that's also an interesting factor as well.
Definitely not enough to check out 501, I'd imagine. It's probably just a handful. A Holloway Queen there at a big price for you in the Irish National to round off the Big Five from this week. Right, because we've got time for once, it is time to bring back the Nap of the Weeks. I've lost the video, I don't know where it's gone, so Nap of the Weeks, here we go. I'll go first just to give the boys a bit of a chance to make sure they have their notes in order. Annoyingly, Krug Park's entered in 3 races over the next 7 days, and I would have liked to have backed him. There's a grade 3 of Cork and 3 miles, but the likes of Classic Getaway are in there as well anyway, so he might not even win. But my nap is going to come from the Irish National meeting as well. It's on the Sunday of the card, day 2. That's Kappa G Pike, I've spelled that wrong there. He's in the Grade 1 Willow Warm Gold Cup, and he's been absolutely brilliant so far. He's 2 for 2 as a novice chaser. He won a Grade 3 last time out as well. He buried Jacob's Ladder, who then went on to win a big handicap at the DRF. The form lines are really starting to appear for him. Doesn't appear to be the easiest of rides here. I've noticed like Danny Mullins had to wait an age in that race last time. to get him warmed up. But when he did press the button, this thing just flew home past the likes of Jacob's Ladder and another Jigginstown horse in there as well. He retains his trip of 2.5 miles, which I'm a big fan of. I think that's pretty much where he is. It's a bit of a ballsy move, obviously, to throw him into open company at the end of the season here, but I think equally that just shows the respect Willie Mullins has got for this. He doesn't really seem to have a perennial 2.5 miler at the minute. Obviously, there's the Maneira and Suede horse that blew out at the festival, but I don't really think that he's got too many, and I think he's trying to build up another Allaho, and hopefully that this Kappa G Pike can use this as a progression to next year. And I think 5-2 in a not the strongest looking race, the likes of Predators Gold, who's already beat us in there, 6 Mile Bridge, he's been on a very good season, but I think that he's the form line here to win this graded contest on the Sunday in the north of Dublin. Cotty, you landed yours last week. I think it was in the week, some bumper. I didn't manage to find a winner, but you've been on a good roll. I think it's like 13 from 20 now this season or something crazy like that. So hopefully we can keep striking that rate up. And who are you going to go for your best bet this weekend?
Well, mine runs tomorrow on April Fool's Day. The 350 at Wincanton, a horse called Walk in the Present for Neil Mulholland. I think the key to this horse is good ground. Made a mockery of 85 about 2 weeks ago at Taunton for Dylan Johnston. It's got a £7 penalty for that, but that was on good ground over 3 mile. Same as what it is tomorrow. Was 5.5 lengths clear of the second. The second was streets clear of the third as well, which I always look for. If the second can put good distance between itself and the third. So yeah, plenty of quality and things to like about the favourite. I'm not too sure that there's much depth in the race. Harry Cobden's riding one for Nigel Hawke at 9-1, but the joint second favourite is a Paul Nicholls horse. So they obviously think that they need to take £5 off that to have any chance. So yeah, that would be a bit of a negative for me. So yeah, I think there's lots to like about walking the present, and at 6-4, I think it's more than fair price.
Tomorrow afternoon at Wincanton. You don't really strike me as the kind of bloke who would have just done all this, and then you're going to turn around 5 minutes after it loses and go, April Fools, and then give us another nap, are you?
Well, I'll let you know about 5-4 tomorrow. might have another go.
Walk in the present there at Wincanton tomorrow. Matty, loads of different racing this weekend. You've got flats, you've got jumps, you've got everything you would like. Yeah, I'll still bet this is going to be some class 5 at a random track.
No, I'm going to keep it simple this week. I've been putting up some horrific naps of late, short prices and maiden.
What, did it get beat up last week in the end? Was it like 3's on?
Yeah, I think so.
Yikes.
Yeah, get deck back on. I think I'm going to put Blue Carpet up as my nap this week. I think just think of complicating things too much. Stick to what we know. Harry and Dan Skelton in big field handicaps on a Saturday. I do actually think this horse is very progressive, and I think there's a lot more to come from him, and I think he will take this prize and go on to bigger things. And while we're mentioning, I think the Flyer Begley 33-1 each way, good each way bet for anyone this weekend. I think he's a massive price for a smaller connection. So yeah.
Lovely, a couple of shots there this weekend to try and finally get yourself a nap on the board and hopefully rectify the horrible loss you had last week. Good stuff, folks. That was a nice quick one this week. Obviously, kind of the racing takes a little bit of an inhale before we head into Aintree next week, and we've got the Grand National Festival to look forward to. I couldn't say it is because there's so much good international racing these days, and it's not the same race as it used to be, but the National is still obviously something that holds a lot in the hearts of people, isn't it, Matty? And it's something that everyone has a bet on. It's still that race, isn't it? And it still leaves a lot to be desired about the excitement, but I'm sure you're looking forward to that, and then the rest of Aintree, where we've got a whole host of grade ones, and it should be a fantastic meeting.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to Aintree. Like you say, sadly, the National just isn't the race that it was. I think a couple of weeks ago, there was, it might have been a ground staff member at Aintree put a photo on of the fences, sort of that saying that, they're ready to go for the National, and they just literally look like stuffed hurdles now. It's they look like the hurdles in the cross country up the straight at Cheltenham. It's not what it was at all. It's sad because, you know, the jumping and the fences is what made that race what it is.
Yeah.
But I don't really see in this day and age how we can go back to making them as big as they were or more challenging, because it creates more boundaries for it, more barriers for the sport. But yeah, it's essentially just a glorified staying handicap chase now over regulation fences, and it's likely going to be won by a big trainer, probably Willie Mullins, who's going to have God knows how many darts at it. I think Grange Clare West seems to be the one they really fancy this year, and he should be a proper grade one horse really, but they can get away now with running in this race. So it does take away kind of the drama and the potential fairy tale story that we've had in the past. But yeah, it's still a great spectacle for everyone in the UK, and it does get everyone's eyes on racing. But for me personally, it's actually, I look forward to the graded races more probably than the Grand National these days. We'll be seeing horses that have missed Cheltenham, horses that have ran at Cheltenham and are going to try and come and win at Aintree again. So no, I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, I agree with a lot of what you said there. I don't mean to diss the race, but it isn't what it used to be. The 3 days as a whole, I'm not going this year, but I think I've been to the last like 4 or 5 Aintree festivals, and they are just, like Cotty will tell you here, the day out is just amazing, isn't it? The weather seems to be typically good, the crowds are incredible, the piss up is fantastic, the music's great. It's still a good day out, it's just the race isn't what it used to be. But less of that. You've landed the 4-timer today on the Dan Skelton yard, so you are dying for me to wrap this up so you can get to the pub.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I agree with what both you said. I was going to speak about that photo Matty brought up about the fence that literally does look like a hurdle. I remember when I think it was about 8-9 years ago, went with my old man, and we're both pretty tall blokes, and we had a photo by one of the fences, and the fence towered over us, and we're both over 6 foot. But I think if we went back to that fence now and had a photo, then you probably wouldn't even see the fence in the background. But times have changed, and that's just the way it is. I think that's why you see in the recent years why the horses at the top of the market are so there at the finish, because there's less things to go wrong. Ruby Walsh was speaking the other day many years ago when he was riding in the race. I think they jumped the chair to go out for another circuit, and he said there was only 7 left, and it was just a matter of, even if you can stay on the prize money, goes all the way down, and it's decent prize money. But now you'd be surprised if there was 7 fallers, let alone 7 left. So yeah, as Matty said, I'm more interested in the top graded actions, and even the fox hunters and stuff over the 2-mile trip. They're always a good watch because they go alpha leather from the start, and that's a decent watch. But no, looking forward to it. You'd rather watch the Aintree Festival over the Lincoln. So yeah, looking forward to it, and only a couple of weeks away.
Yeah, I'll agree with that, to be fair. It's definitely a nicer watch than Doncaster's opening weekend is. But that is obviously going to take us through to the near of the end of our National Hunt season. We've got that. We've also got Punchestown to look forward to, where we're going to see so many superstars coming back out again. Maybe even see Gaelic Warrior if he turns up to go for the Irish Punchestown Gold Cup as well. So there is so much good stuff to look forward to before, of course, we get into the start of the Classics with the Guineas and other big races to come over the next few weeks. Thank you again, folks, for joining us. Hopefully there's some nice tips in there at big prices to start to build that pot towards the 2026 Grand National next week, and we will be back for that as well. Look forward to have your company from that. For Matty and for Cotty, my name's been Harrison Ferris. It's been a pleasure to have you on board. We will see you next week, folks. Have a good weekend.